Welcome to the Devil Fruit Podcast. I'm Jacob, the funny one of the group.
I'm Joe. I got a weird bump on my arm.
No one knows what it
I'm
is.
Ethan, the local bad boy. You were all going to say it at the same time.
Oh, no.
Bad boy.
Oh, no.
Bad boy, yeah. What you
Sorry,
gonna
I
do?
missed that cue.
Yeah, what you gonna do when Ethan comes for you? Really, don't take that out of context.
Well, you're going to
Don't.
want to join the crew.
You're gonna.
I got applications.
You're gonna want to join
man.
the crew.
Oh man. Well,
Oh, okay.
today on the podcast, we are starting our first episode of Saint Seiya. This was
Talk about a bad boy.
Yeah, talk about a bad boy. This was given to us through our anime Chooserama, where if you didn't know and if you hadn't listened to it, which by the way you should, Ethan's fiance Kat decided on 3 shows that we pitched to her, and she decided on Saint Seiya. So now we're watching that shit. So, boys, how we fucking feeling about this show that came out in 1986?
I got excited about this show. I started watching it, and it exceeded my expectations as far as what the art was going to be. I was worried about the art. The audio for the sub is about what I expected.
Yeah. Oh man. it's wild.
It is. The music's great.
The music's really good.
And actually, some of the voice acting is actually pretty good. It's just
The
the quality
audio,
of it
yeah.
is just not awesome.
It's kind of wild how bad the audio quality is. Like, I know that a lot of basically like every show back then was around this level, but it is really funny hearing like how ridiculous it is.
I loved one of my favorite audio moment was I think the unicorn was on the screen or something.
Yeah.
And the noise that the unicorn made was
Oh
like
yeah.
a
Oh my god.
dinosaur.
Dude, it's
and
wild.
I was like, why couldn't it just Winnie? Why couldn't it just neigh?
Every time that there was a horse-based like thing, they never made a horse sound.
It was like
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of loved it though. I was like, yeah, it's like a
lion.
It's like a fucking spirit Pegasus. Who knows what that sound is? That's a good time.
I had weird like Pokemon flashbacks, except I was like, this isn't like a made up thing. Like this is supposed to be. Anyway.
More
importantly, I need to know what your guys' first impressions are.
Okay. So, couple of things. I think Seiya. I really like Seiya because he's such a like no shit like cocky bastard who's just like showing up and going fuck you like everywhere he goes.
Yeah.
And every time he's talking with somebody and like I really like that he's not like the type of protagonist that I feel like permeates through a lot of anime, especially modern shows. Where he's just like a goody two-shoes.
He's like the opposite of a shonen protagonist.
Yeah, he's like the least goody two-shoes. Every single time he's just like, you thought you had me? Bitch, I got you. And the couple of moments, like my favorite being when after he won the Pegasus cloth and he goes back to go talk to the grandfather. Because he's the one who said, if you go get this cloth, then I'll show you where your sister is. And he goes back there, shows up, just like fucking kicking the door in, and he's like, where Gramps at? I want to see my sister. What the fuck? And then the granddaughter's like, he's fucking dead. He's like, oh shit, what? Well, I mean, you're still gonna hold to that shit, right? And she's like, no. And he's like, man, fuck you. Like, he's just like... He's so
basically. My whole thing was like, and the other guy was like, you have to respect her, like blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, no, like this guy's been clearly wronged.
Yeah.
Like, he has every reason to be like, hey, no, like,
yeah,
somebody is showing me where my sister's at, or I'm not leaving. Like,
And I like
Yeah.
and I like that motivation is like it's a serious motivation and it's kept seriously. Like he takes it very seriously.
Yeah.
It's like the only reason he's in this tournament is because she essentially put him against a corner and said, "This is the only way you're gonna find her." You know, he couldn't give any fucks otherwise. He's just trying to get his sister. And I just that was probably one of my favorite scenes of the whole 5 episodes that we watched. Just like that confrontation where he's just like, she's supposed to be this highly respected, powerful human being that like everyone, like no one messes with her, and he just doesn't care. I love that.
I really like that scene too. Yeah,
that was my first big thing. My other thing is, and I think maybe I'll get over this as we kind of continue. I've not only this show, but other older shows that I've tried to watch, I do have a lot of trouble watching them because it really is a different. It's a different way of telling stories. Like the visuals are just, you know, you could tell that there was a massive budget difference because there wasn't as big of an audience, and like the way that they do things is just, it's a little more. Sometimes it's a little more dramatic, and sometimes, like, just the amount of animation is just not nearly as there as a lot of modern shows. So, like, my attention span isn't there as much compared to watching something that's more from this, like, last decade. And I feel like I'm trying to unlearn that.
Yeah, I'm interested to see, because I'm sure they had like a certain amount of money set aside for X amount of episodes for the show.
Right.
And the artists, you know, they'd have like a crew of artists who would have to like, you know, cut corners at certain places, obviously.
Right. Well, and plus, yeah, I mean, we got to remember that this is like cell animation era too. Which is crazy.
So I'm interested to see like if there's a clear point in this season, or if maybe it's next season where they realize this is a popular show and we're going to make money.
Right.
If there's a decent jump in
quality. Yeah. That's fair because I've watched some 90s shows that were like that. Like if you watch Initial D, the quality of the first season versus like the third or the fourth is like massively different. So
I think Sailor Moon's like a great example of that.
Yeah. Too. So yeah, no, I totally agree with you. But I just wanted to point out that was an experience I had where I was struggling sometimes to like fully keep in, because sometimes it was like, man, they're really holding on this frame for a really long time, or like, oh man, there's really not a lot of movement going on here, or something like that. But what I did like about seeing that difference was I liked how they got around some of the budget restrictions sometimes. Like they had like creative means to show movement every once in a while. Like the thing that like sticks out in my head was in the early episodes when he's fighting the girl who's trying to steal the cloth from him, and there's like one thing where he does like a quick like back roll, and instead of them showing his body doing a back roll, they show like the lines do it. You know what I mean? Like it was just like energy lines that do like a spiral. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like it's obvious like why they did it as far as from a budget perspective, but it's like it still conveys what it wants, and it kind of still works with the art style and how a lot of the action scenes look.
Like, yeah, it's closer to like the actual like manga or like a comic book. Like
the
motion lines that you see.
The motion lines, yeah.
In a static picture, like those are present here, which it's interesting to see that.
Right.
Stylistically and like, you know, budget restraint wise and technology restraint wise, it's neat.
Yeah. So those were my takeaways that are popping in my head. So what about you, Joe?
So my thing, because I told you guys I was gonna come in like I was gonna try and not be on the fence on things. Okay. This show is like shaping up to be at least like it's okay. It's everything I love like wrapped in gift wrapping that I hate. Like if
That's
that
awesome.
makes
That was,
sense.
dude. I love
Like-
that description. That's great.
Like it's the I can already tell. Like I'm not that far in the show, but I have a feeling, partly by my knowledge that there are future series, there's more to the story, there's more to the universe yet to come. Like I know there is. And I feel like there's this deep universe that's going to open up, and I that's the sort of thing that you guys know I'm a sucker for, you know. I live in Dragon Ball. Naruto was amazing. I love One Piece, and just give me a universe and give me time to develop that, and I like Morrowind and Elder Scrolls games, like that's my shit. Zelda, the number of different Zelda games anyway. But like but like that's my thing is this deep universe, and I have a feeling, I have a hope that that's what this is going to be, and all these similar types of tropes and things. Like it starts out with a tournament.
Facts.
Yeah.
Out
as soon as
the
they got
gate.
into the tournament, I
Oh!
thought of you, Joe.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
no. Tournaments. That's
Yeah.
a key staple in the type of things that I'm into.
What are you not
But-
liking? Yeah.
But it's wrapped, at least in the beginning. It's all presented in like no backstory. It shoves you directly into the action. Like I don't, and like a piece of me like, sure, yeah, like that's a style, like you jump in and then you jump back and you get a flashback and then you're up in that. Like it's
Yeah.
a way of telling a story.
Which
I
there's been a
understand
little
that.
bit of that. Yeah.
And there's been a little bit here and there. And maybe I just don't like how thirsty I am for the flashbacks. Like I
Oh, really?
am
That's interesting.
parched. Like I need to know stuff.
That's so
like
that's so interesting to me, because like I don't know if it's that I disagree with that. I just don't know if I really care that much about the flashbacks right now. At least right now.
well, cause here's my thing: is it's jumped right to a tournament, and
True.
I'm having trouble caring
That's fair. I
about
understand that.
the different people, and
Yeah.
but I want to, because I see them, and I've got these tiny bits of their flashbacks, and I'm like, I want to like this person, but I just don't. And I hope that this turns into a saying of me being like, I don't yet, but I'm currently scared that I just like will stay like this. And we're only 5 episodes in, but
Yeah.
like positive things. I love Seiya as a character in a similar way as Jacob pointed out. He reminds me of like Yusuke Urameshi.
From what?
You got it.
Yusuke from Yu Yu Hakusho.
Oh, okay. That's why.
He's a
Yes.
similar, just like, I have
It
my
is.
agenda. This is what I'm gonna do, and like he's kind of a bad boy. Like at
But
his
not
core.
not the local bad boy.
He's
Not-
not the local bad boy. That's
Not that
Ethan.
local
Everybody
shit.
knows.
Not the big,
Everybody knows.
not the big cheese.
Oh my gosh, but I like that. I also like the freaking dragon dude.
Dragon Dude's cool. I like the
The
Dragon,
dragon dude's awesome. Can we talk about how he
His special move is
did
lit.
Naruto's training but better?
Yeah.
Like-
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be a cool story.
The whole-
if they ever show more of it.
The whole
Oh my
the whole
gosh.
idea of like the way that he trains this like special move is by like literally pushing so much power through his leg that he's like reverting the flow of the fucking waterfall. It's so sick. And the fact
it's
that
not
it's
just
Yeah.
any
it's not
waterfall.
just well, that's the thing. It's like he doesn't just like revert the waterfall, because that's what it sounded like. But then once you see him do it, he not only reverts it, but it like amalgamates into a fucking dragon, and you're like, oh, that's good.
No, it's like it's a mythic waterfall. Like
Yeah,
it's the
right.
largest movement of water on Earth. There's
Yeah.
a legend about a dragon like falling from Earth and creating it or something like
My
that.
man's
and, like,
just kicking it.
And then there's a little Yoda-looking man,
yeah, that was
like
that was
telling
weird.
him about how silly he is about like you haven't figured this out after 5 years
Fucking-
of training.
The
Like-
fucking bibbity boppity looking fucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, like Bobbity. That's better. Yeah,
Yeah,
he looks like
yeah.
freaking Bobbity from Dragon Ball Z. I loved that, and it did kind of like it made me reflect in myself. I was like, yeah, this is just like Naruto, but like I like this more. And what else did I like? I learned things. Like Ethan was all hyped about, how this was going to connect into like mythology and stuff and all that. My thing, like I was learning like creatures. Like what the fuck is the swan thing, guy? What's his animal or
Yeah,
the
I
ice?
remember.
Ice. It's like some Arctic bird, I guess.
Yeah, like a fucking hell. What was that?
Somebody type it up real quick.
Yeah.
But his whole thing was like, I loved the introduction of like his mom is just like in an Arctic Ocean, submerged and drowned,
Cygnus,
but
is
just
that what
like
it is?
what is he?
Cygnus?
No, Cygnus is the name of the guy.
Cygnus.
But
Oh
isn't
no,
that the
I'm
clock?
sorry, no.
That's the constellation.
He's Cygnus Hyoga. Yeah, his name's Hyoga, but they
Yeah.
also call him Cygnus because he's the. It's
Cygnus.
It's the Greek word for swan.
Yeah, so it's just
Okay, so it is just a swan.
just
okay.
Greek swan.
Yeah, because I was looking at that and I was like, I don't know what the fuck a Cygnus is, but I'm pretty sure it looks like a swan.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay.
Dude,
There you go.
that guy really, like, the way that they did him was really cool to me because he has one of the goofiest outfits, for sure.
It's pretty bad.
Like, with the fucking, like, swan head coming off of it and stuff.
It's pretty bad.
But it's also, like, I know he could kick anyone's ass at any time, which is cool.
Yeah.
That they kind of gave him, like, this confidence.
I mean, you gotta have a confidence of a mountain if you have a swan on your forehead. Like,
I think that's a good introduction to talking about the other people. So, like, what
Okay,
we saw quite a.
I was about to.
We saw.
Sorry.
It's all right. Yeah, we saw a lot of cloths. We saw the Jabu unicorn cloth. We saw the bear.
Yep.
I think his name is Geki.
Geki. That was my favorite scene. By far my favorite scene from this.
Mhm.
As far as maybe not from like because I really like the back end with the dragon fight, but
yeah.
the bear Geki scene where he's fucking just choking him, and then he starts talking about. But I thought it was I was laughing because he's like, he's literally like, you think I can't choke you? Do you know how many bears I've choked until death? And I was like, that's a weird flex. That's a really weird flex. He's just like, I was just running around the forest just choking bears. And now I can choke you, child. And I was like, this is so weird.
No, yeah,
That is
that was
bizarre.
one of the things that I loved was the details because they said that he went to where did he went? He went to the Colorado Rockies.
He just went around
Or something.
choking bears to death. I was like, that's fucked up. What the fuck?
Especially when that's like your soul animal, you'd think you'd
Right?
Yeah.
want to be like worshipped by them.
Yeah.
That would be like Brother Bear getting transformed and then just like slaughtering bears. That would be
He's just running around the Rockies,
Like,
fucking
that's the
choking out
equivalent.
bears. I was just the image of that, and they literally like showed a little flashback of just a bunch of
Yeah.
like bear bodies on the floor, and I was like, this is wild.
it was a weird
Just a weird
show,
flex,
for
man.
sure.
Just
Yeah,
a weird ass flex. But
It's a weird flex.
yeah.
But I loved that also for a different reason, because it's reminiscent of one of the greatest scenes of Dragon Ball Z. Okay, you just anytime I see some big bad evil dude grab the pro tag from nothing but just their two hands and grip and squeeze them, I think of Vegeta in his great ape form, and just pummeling Goku, you know, like it's just reminiscent of me. And anytime I see that, I just get a little bit of like, huh, I like this. Like that sounds weird to say. Like I don't like.
Joe
I don't
likes
seeing the choke. Like
Joe really likes seeing
it's,
squeezing men.
No, it's
It reminds
Like,
Anyway,
it
I
reminds
wasn't a big fan.
reminds him of his childhood.
oh God.
I think this is my least favorite of the fights, to be honest.
The
with
bear
you.
one?
Oh.
Yeah.
I
Which
only
one do you like
I
more?
only really like that one because of just that visual that he put out. And
That is funny
otherwise,
now that you mention it.
Otherwise,
It is
like
funny.
yeah, like I really like how they integrate the idea of how they use the cosmos, where he basically like he breaks the dude's fucking gauntlets because you can just kind of like imbue force to like shatter things.
Anime science.
Yeah. And I was like, I like that. I think like as far as like how to get out of that scenario, I thought that was cool. But yeah, it was a super short fight. It didn't really feel like much of anything.
It just seems like the designs, you can tell what designs they took time on, like the dragon guy.
Oh yeah, like Bear Geki is not gonna really pop up much after this.
No, he just looks like such a goon.
Oh,
I
for
really
sure.
want to know what
Yeah.
the deal is with the Andromeda guy, the guy in the pink.
With the fucking chain.
I like his cloth a
With
lot.
the fucking chain right at the end
Yeah.
that like recognized that some dude was like appearing out of the lightning clouds. Which, by the way, what a fucking thing to stop on. What a thing to stop on.
I know.
I was like, what?
Yeah, that
what's
was
happening?
quite a cliffhanger.
Oh man.
Yeah,
It's got to be Hades, right?
No, I think it's one of the other tournament dudes.
It's got to
one of
be
the
another
other-
tournament guy.
Oh, he's just
tournament guy.
arriving.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
because
Fuck yeah.
they were waiting on two of them. They were waiting on Phoenix and one other guy.
They were waiting on the ice guy, and the ice guy showed up.
Oh, well then it's got to be Phoenix.
So then it's got to be Phoenix.
It's got to be Phoenix.
Okay.
How do y'all feel about the?
Seems weird for Phoenix to show up in the dark, but I'm cool with that.
How do y'all feel about the special moves that we've seen? Other than like we talked about the dragon.
I'm already bored of the meteor punch.
Yeah.
It's a very
Although
whatever move. Yeah.
I couldn't tell what. Did they ever explain how he was hitting the dragon guy?
It's literally just that. Because the dragon guy explains that some of his punches were going beyond Mach, and then some of them weren't. And he was
right.
And the dragon guy was saying, "Oh, I can see all of the ones that are slower, and so all I got to worry about is a couple of Mach ones." So maybe like a couple of the like the first time he gets hit, he only gets hit once. So maybe that one punch was just fast enough where he didn't see it. And then when he goes and does it again and he hits him twice, I think the idea there is that he was like adapting slowly to like make his punches faster. It's really weird.
And well, every time he punches him, it makes him weaker and slower.
I forgot that he also saw the opening in his stance. That must have been what it was. He was kind of aiming for that.
Well, no, because that was only when he was
that
doing
wasn't
the
with his
special
heart.
That was only when he was doing the special move.
Oh, okay.
Which, by the way,
weakness.
if I'm being honest, I didn't expect that, like, okay, he does the finisher move and, like, finally defeats him, and then they're like, yo, this guy's dead. And I was like, I was like, oh my god. And I thought it was going to be one of those things where they were like,
dude.
I thought it was going to be one of those things where they were like, oh, he's dead, and then the dude just, like, gets up, and they're like, oh, no, he wasn't dead. But it was like, oh, no, he's, like, dead. Oh, shit, we're panicking now. Can we bring him back? Because he's, like, fucking dead. And I was like, holy shit. That's, like, really intense.
Can I say I had a massive eye roll moment, though. when they were like, the only way, conveniently, to bring him back is by punching him again with the same exact force,
but on
from the other side.
That was pretty lame.
My favorite thing.
What?
My favorite thing is how they're trying to punch him from the other side, but he's like lost so much blood from his head that he can barely stand up. But then finally, the thing that gets him is true love.
Dude.
My personal theory for that, by the way, is he's losing blood. He's still like half passing out. But as soon as he sees his girl cheering him on, that blood that was
Yeah.
rushing out of his head goes back
Yeah.
in and straight towards his dick, and that's the reason he was able to stay up enough to punch him. That's my theory.
Just stay up enough.
That's my theory. And I think
Well-
it's very true.
Oh my
That's-
gosh.
That sounds like good science to me.
think
I was
that's
gonna say something
expert
like
science.
nice about like behind every great man is a great woman.
Nah,
like
he
I was gonna go
he
that
was
direction.
Running on full sexual libido. That's the
Oh,
only
man.
reason that happened.
Yeah,
100%.
man.
I don't disagree.
I also had another moment where I also have to admit now that you guys, because you guys are watching what you said with the original audio and stuff, and I watched mine in the dub.
Oh my god. You
Um,
watched yours in the dub?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on before you go further. I did I think it was episode 4.
Okay.
I watched in the dub, and then I went back and watched it in the sub to see how different it was, because the quality level is so much better with the dub.
Oh, is it?
And it is super like they hit very similar points.
Mm.
I think the only difference was that I really noticed was the crowd in the sub is more interactive than in the dub. The dub, they didn't have as much like cheering and back and forth with the crowd.
Okay.
Okay.
Because my thing was like, because I know old animes like have a very specific like image in my head with like the original Dragon Ball and like the well I guess like oldest animes like thinking back to OG Pokemon and like just old school stuff where it maybe just wasn't the best like all the time. And I was like, I want to see what I want to get the full, I guess, American 80s experience and watch the dub.
Right.
And one of the things I picked up on was the Chinese girl comes in talking about to the dragon guy. She was like, so and so, our master is dead.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, well, what? And all this stuff, and then like she's kind of in the background, which we should talk about that because I feel like that's gonna be the next arc coming up. Maybe is going to his land. Maybe I don't know, but I had this weird moment where like he dies, and she's like praying for him to be okay and stuff, and in the English dub, she's like it's definitely just Americanizing it, I guess.
Uh-oh.
And maybe it's not as big of a deal as it is that I'm making it out to be, but she's like praying clearly to like the Christian God,
Oh.
and it's just it feels weird seeing that out of somebody in like traditional like Chinese garb, and like maybe that's me being small-minded. And like
What,
I suppose religion's supposed to expand one culture,
don't-
but like
I don't remember in the sub. I don't feel like she actually like said who she was praying to in the sub. I feel
when
like,
she's got her arm like hands folded and stuff.
yeah, I feel like she was like maybe I'm forgetting, but I felt like all she said was basically just like she was just like saying like, please, fucking, don't let him die. I don't remember her actually praying to anything specific. So that's weird. That's weird.
Well, yeah. In the dub, I'm pretty sure she says, "Please, Lord," and I was like, and like obviously that could be many things, but I don't know.
That
It
is
just
one of
seems
those
very,
things that happens with dubs,
American
though,
Christian.
because they have to fit the mouth as much as they can, and sometimes,
Sure, yeah.
sometimes the translation gets slightly skewed, where it still essentially means the same thing, but like because of that's the thing is like when you add
With the
certain
mouth
words,
flaps.
the connotation changes, and like
Yeah.
that's one of the interesting things about dubs, though. To be fair, like.
But there's also like clear presence of Christianity with like the orphanage and the big shot of the cross on top of the building.
That's fair.
And like
That's fair.
like so
And it's
maybe
not like, and I mean, yeah, it's
I don't
not
know.
Like, it's not like Christianity isn't in Japan, so
Yeah, right. I that was just something that I
Noticed.
stuck out to me.
I
yeah.
I didn't check out the dub at all, so I don't even know what it sounds like. Is the audio quality better?
It's
It's
like
much better.
Oh yeah.
I mean I don't notice much about like the when they're talking and stuff, but I did have that moment like with the animal sounds still when they're fighting and then it transitions into like their spirit beasts actually fighting, and there's the
Sure, they
unicorn.
probably kept those effects.
Yeah, the unicorn makes some weird pterodactyl sound
Yeah.
that's just not good.
I kind of love it.
I think
I kind of love it.
My
Yeah.
biggest gripe with the dub, I think, was just the sounds that they make when they are fighting in the sub was more like a traditional kung fu movie kind of sound.
Really?
You know, with the Bruce Lee kind of like
Give it to us.
expressions.
Yeah. Give it to us, Ethan.
In
Really?
the dub, I cannot
Give us a good Bruce Lee.
tell you what. But the dub was very much just like a guy having a beer, just like grunting and stuff. I wasn't into that.
Oh man.
Yeah,
No,
not giving it that full force, not giving it that the guy kind of walked in.
No, he was not committed.
They were like,
He was
oh shit, dude, we need fucking action sounds, and they like literally like opened the door to the front door of the studio, and they're like, hey, you want to make some money? And he's like, yeah, I guess. And he walks in there, and he's like, wait, so you want me to, okay, like,
It wasn't even that. Like, the dragon guy was like getting ready to do his big stance.
yeah,
And he does like that whole like elaborate like
Right.
posing thing.
right. Instead of and
in the sub,
the
he's
sub,
like doing
yeah,
like
he's doing like hey,
But in-
yeah,
in the dub he's like
Really?
yeah.
"Huh."
Oh, so he,
That
was No, yeah.
this man literally sat down and he was like,
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm curious.
One, baby.
Now I'm curious, cause every time Seiya does it, cause this is one of the things I loved when they're doing like right before their special moves.
Yeah.
They're tracing the constellations with their hands.
yeah, dude.
I was like,
Yeah.
that's
it's
cool.
It's very Power Rangers to me, where they're
You're
like
right,
looking into
yeah.
the stance, where you get that real big
It's-
boy like, where they're like Tyrannosaurus. Boom, and you're like, fuck yeah, fuck yeah.
making like the big circles with their hands. And
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
like that, but like with purpose.
Right.
And like, but what I'm saying is in the dub, like Seiya doesn't make any sounds when he does it. Does he do anything in the sub?
He totally makes sounds
Oh,
in the
yeah.
subs. He's literally
Really?
He's literally like going for like the full Kamehameha. Yeah, goes for the full Kamehameha. Where he's like, and it's so
Really?
good. Yeah.
Oh man, I feel like I should switch over to the sub because that's awesome. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's really like he's kind of silent.
Just fucking
He's
just like
it's. Yeah, no,
Just
it's
fucking moving
like
his arms
silent,
around.
and then there's like, like there's like atmospheric music in
Right,
the background
right.
as he's doing it.
I do fuck,
Um,
if we may, and I know we said it before, but I do fuck with the music. I fuck with the intro song like crazy.
That was
yeah.
yeah. The
Like,
intro
That-
song,
I've been like finding myself like singing that recently.
Yeah.
dude.
Just like mumbling it.
Saint Seiya.
Saint
Dude,
Seiya.
you guys,
Oh.
what's it called? Pegasus Fantasy is on my gym playlist now.
Is that the name of the song?
It's called Pegasus Fantasy,
Yo.
Hell yeah.
and it's fucking
It's really good.
amazing.
It's really good. And like
It's
honestly,
really good.
it's something about that 80s flair to just like not even just the intro song, but like throughout the score and how like that era's mindset of like scoring shit like this was just so different. And I really like it because
Yeah.
like granted like this show's melodramatic as shit, but
Yeah.
it works, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's very fun, and it's the music is the thing that really hooks it in a lot of the time because sometimes the visuals are again like a little stagnant just because of the amount of money that they have working with.
Yo,
And
but one of the things I wanted to say about the visuals, though,
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you, and you can see moments where they clearly were inhibited by one thing or another.
yeah,
But there's other times where it's straight beautiful.
oh for
Like-
sure, yeah,
The one that really sticks out to my head, where it straight up looks like a painting,
Mm-hmm.
is when I almost said Yusuke. When Seiya is first like being shown his room that he's staying at, and like the little kids and his love interest is all in the room, and the sun's streaming through the window, and it's on the bed and stuff. It looks like straight like a impressionist like oil painting almost. Like it looks so pretty.
I really like the big background murals as well, like when they do the big wide shots on the stadium and shit. It's really cool.
Yeah, and the way the stadium like closes its dome.
Yeah, and it becomes this constellation. Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah.
And, like, I really love that when you get into that cell animation era, that when they do backgrounds like that, they take their time on them because they're ultimately going to show them a lot. And like, you don't really get that as much with modern stuff. Like, you'll get detailed backgrounds, but I don't know, like, it doesn't feel as cool that when you see something like painted like that.
Yo, I'll give you a direct comparison to a modern one. So like, take the detailed background and maybe the limited detail on the characters in this show, Saint Seiya, and then compare that directly to spoilers, I guess, maybe a little bit. Spoiler.
I don't know what
to this big scene from Boruto when Naruto and Sasuke are fighting this big bad guy. I've never seen the show, but I've seen that fight scene.
I've also seen that fight
a couple
scene, but
times.
I've never seen the show.
Think about how plain and not detailed the background is.
Right.
But then how hyper detailed the characters are.
Right.
It's just like a shift
they
of
always
attention.
did that kind of clouded green. That's true. Naruto does do that.
Yeah. It's like the one scene I'm thinking of specifically. It's like some white, like villain. I don't know, but it's like this purple sky and brown ground, and like that's it.
And I think I mean, I guess it makes sense how that has transformed because people want to see flashy animation, and at that point, you're so focused on the movement that they think, well, where we can constrain the budget is in the background, and that's fair.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, I think it's just the change of how things have evolved, and in this, because
it's just so interesting
because they were too restricted by cell animation to really like make that animation so fluid. The fact that the backgrounds were like, that was where they could put some money is like, okay, let's really take the time with that. And it's the difference of that. What I really like is seeing those old school tropes and seeing how that has really permeated into modern stuff, even in this show, which like we talked about briefly, just like over our group chat about how we're like, I think it was Joe that said that it's like, this seems like a fucking like hidden gem from the 80s that we just all didn't know about. Or was that Ethan?
Yeah, I said that it's shaping up to be like it seems like it's one of these
penultimate
pillars.
Shows, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a pillar. Like I think of Dragon Ball as a pillar.
Right.
I think of Akira as a pillar.
Right.
I think of like things like that, and I'm like, yeah, this seems like it's in the early era.
Yeah.
And it's definitely been around. There's a new installment to the show coming out soon.
If it's not, or is it out? Is it out yet on Netflix? That new one. Ethan, I feel like you would know.
I'm sorry, what?
Is that new?
Yeah,
it is out.
It is.
So yeah.
So guys, this is really interesting actually, because speaking of that, it made me think. So, this show came out in '86, right?
86, yeah.
86.
That's the same year.
Or was it 82?
It was 86.
Okay.
Our boy Kid Icarus came out.
Okay.
Same year as Kid Icarus?
Okay.
Same year as Kid Icarus.
Okay.
That's cool.
Which
you could see like the same like interest in mythology.
Yeah, I wonder if there was any kind of like, because those are so closely related.
Sure, yeah.
In my mind, I don't know.
That's super fair. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, maybe.
But that's like the public interest, you know?
And
things go from that to hyper sci-fi to then there's a wave of zombie things.
You know what? You know what's funny about that? Now that you say that, when I think about even the modern design for Pitt, he's got this type of look. that this
Oh
show
yeah,
has.
he totally look. If he had a cloth on, I
Right.
wouldn't even think twice.
Like
about
he's
it.
got the big sparkly eyes and that like boy cut. That's funny. That's interesting.
Yeah. And the other thing I just found on Wikipedia. So the band that made Saint Seiya's Pegasus Fantasy,
Yeah.
their name is Makeup.
Okay.
It's a Japanese band.
Right.
The band's name is Makeup.
Makeup.
Like that. I
Awesome.
like that.
Hyphen.
Love that.
Awesome.
Love that.
So they had 2 albums before that. Then they were invited in to do the Saint Seiya theme song, and that was like their like one-hit wonder.
Mm.
But then it says under here, and I haven't listened to this, but it says in 2012, an Omega version of the song was made for Saint Seiya Omega.
Okay.
What?
So they
Now, what is an Omega version of a
Yeah,
song?
that's true. What is an Omega version? That's a good fucking question.
I rolled over to Kat after I finished these 5 episodes, and I said to her, I'm watching all 6 seasons. I don't know about you guys,
Oh man.
but I'm powering through this show, man. I really like
I
it.
hear that. I've been waiting on the other couple of shows that I watch like 3 shows at once all the time. It's really bad. I have a weird attention span. But
I don't know how you do that.
I don't
I'm
know
having trouble
either,
just doing
bro.
this one and Fate Zero.
I'm straight up right now. I'm still powering through Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. I just finished the Junji Ito collection, which was okay, and I'm watching this. So I don't know, man. I don't know why I do it
Dude,
either.
that's like, I remember always being mesmerized, like in elementary school and stuff, when everybody was reading books and all this for school and for other reasons, and I was like, how, like, people would talk to me, they'd be like, oh, I'm reading this, but I'm also like on chapter 2 of this, and I'm over here in this, and I was one of those people who was like, how do you do that? Like, I have to have one story at a time, man.
It's the problem is that, okay, listen, I'm a moody boy, okay? I'm an incredibly...
Oh, really?
Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up!
Ethan
God damn
says,
it.
oh, really?
I'm emotional, okay? I got problems. I got things. I got issues I'm trying to work out. And sometimes I get home from work and I'm not in a fucking Saint Seiya mood. Sometimes I need to come home and I need to watch something else. Maybe I want to watch some people fucking duel. Okay, it's just how I want to fucking do it sometimes. Sometimes that's what I want to do. And 5Ds is even better because they duel on motorcycles. Okay.
What? What the fuck?
You
Do they
didn't
do
know
it on
that? You
Sunday?
didn't know that?
Oh no.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
I didn't know
5Ds.
that.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
I'm not gonna ask
5Ds.
any questions.
No.
How did you not know
They
that,
fucking
Ethan?
speed duel. That's what it's called. They go to Speed
Okay.
World and
Oh.
they got speed spells and it's the best. It's actually really good. I like taking away all the other shit I was doing right there. It's
Don't they,
actually
like-
honestly
Motorcycles
really
run
Yeah.
life force and all that
No,
bullshit.
yeah. No, like, isn't
Or
it like the
regular
faster
unleaded.
you go, the more powerful your attacks get?
Yeah, no.
Isn't that a thing?
Because speed. Okay, fucking heavy tangent.
No, I don't want to do it.
Okay,
I don't want
you're
to
right.
do
You're
it.
right.
We're
You're
gonna
right.
go
You're right.
offline
You're right.
for
We're
that.
going off the fucking rails.
Yeah.
We're going off the rails. We're yeah. I'm sorry, but
Sorry,
the
we're
point
teasing
is-
all the Yu-Gi-Oh
The point
fans.
is that my mood shifts, and sometimes I need to watch other things because I'm not always in the mood to watch a certain thing. That's all I was trying to say. Anyways,
Okay.
give us the fucking grading. Where are y'all at on this show? 5 episodes in. We're as far as what we're recording right now, we're only gonna do the first season, which is 15 episodes, and then we'll see as we go if we might hop back in and do others later. But that's the plan right now.
Okay.
So a
I'm
third
gonna
of the
go.
way
I'm
through,
gonna
where
go
you at?
because I think I want to kind of lay out our grading scale on a more universal plane that we can all kind of like be on board with.
Fair enough.
Okay.
So, and maybe this is gonna take more planning, like outside of the show.
Right, it might shift a little bit. Yeah.
That we all can like, because I think it'd be cool if we had a list that we can all kind of agree on as far as like,
And then
these are A
listeners
shows,
can-
these are B shows.
Right. Well, I was about to say, I was thinking about this where we should tally up our final grades on a show and take that and what's it called? Find
Make a chart?
Find the median between our 3.
Yeah.
And then make that the devil fruit rating. I was thinking about that.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd like that a lot.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So, if I were looking at my list right now, I'm not gonna rate this as like, oh, I'm really enjoying it. I'm gonna give it an A. I'm gonna say this is where I would put it right now if this was 5-episode show on my list. Okay. And if that were the case, I will give this a B minus. I think I put it down. That's where Yu Yu Hakusho is. That's really the only other show down there that's like even relatable. But I think I would give this a B minus right now.
Okay.
It's only above a C because, like Joe said, I think that there is a big world that's going to open up here, and I think that the thing that's keeping me down right now is just the art style and the audio quality. But if this show was made, well, I guess I could eat my words by watching the Netflix thing.
That's true, yeah.
I think if this show was made today with the same concept, with like me having zero knowledge of it like I do now, I would be much more on board right now giving it a higher rating. So, I'm at B minus. I like Seiya. I'm excited to see Andromeda and his whole story. And I hope that the tournament kind of wraps up soon. Can we just say, can we all agree that Seiya's going to get the gold?
Oh yeah, it's like 150%. Like this tournament is.
I don't think he will.
Is such an intro. It's that's the one thing I feel like it's definitely agreed is that like this tournament is not gonna be incredibly important. Like once we get into the bigger shit, I really don't think.
Yeah,
this
I'm
tournament
interested to
means
see.
much.
I could see something happening where like this guy that just appeared at the end of this episode like steals the cloth away,
Right,
or something like
Yeah. I feel like this tournament and showing this gold cloth is the equivalent of like Legend of Zelda showing, I think, okay, wait, I'm about to say some shit that I might be completely wrong on, but in like Ocarina of Time, it's like a story thing of introducing this high power to the main character, but then not letting him actually get it until like way later. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that's what's about to happen.
Okay.
I feel like maybe not Phoenix, but some other dude in the tournament is definitely, in my opinion, definitely gonna get the gold cloth. But then Seiya's gonna prove himself to be the better fighter through other ways.
Okay.
Like, it's the difference between like Vegeta being having the power and Goku like earning the power. Like, it'll be like something like that. I think. That's my prediction.
What's your rating?
Can I go into my
what's
rating?
Your rating? Yeah.
I'm trying to be more critical, so I don't like of myself and of I'm not trying to go into my personal life, but I'm trying to be more critical of the shows, just so I don't, because I think I have a tendency to be gentle on things when it comes to criticism and stuff. I don't want to cause harm out there, but
you're what I would call a cuddler.
Aw, damn it! I hate that I made that sound when you said that. But deep down, yeah, I am. But I want to be more critical, so I avoid, if we do have this awesome catalog at the end of this, where it's our Devil Fruit ratings of all these shows, I don't want my scores to just always be high. So right now, if I'm basing the show just on what I saw and excluding my hopes for what the show will be, my excluding my hopes for what I think might happen, and reminding myself of the fact that if I was just picking up the show on my own and like didn't have this purpose, this driving other reason to watch it and think about it in a different way, being devil fruit and stuff, I might not have kept watching after the first 2 episodes.
That's
I
incredibly fair.
might have, yeah. I don't know if I would have kept doing it. So that and X-naying my hopes, I think I would have this at like a D plus. Sorry.
Hey,
I
that's all
I
good.
think it makes more sense.
That's-
I think
but-
it makes more sense to start low at the early part, anyways. Though, to be honest, because if
Yeah.
just like what Ethan
Yeah.
said, if it stopped here, this show would fucking suck. Like if it stopped.
Oh, yeah.
here, yeah. Like
Oh yeah. There's too many things that I
Yeah.
rolled my eyes at and that I was just like, okay. But there were also amazing things. Like you could listen back to this whole podcast. I was
Right.
freaking out about like I loved
Right,
a
there's
lot
some
of
fun
things.
stuff. Absolutely.
But like
and the potential is there.
Yeah.
yeah.
100%.
But like if I
And clearly
wasn't
it does too
watching
well, so.
with a more critical eye, I wouldn't have paid as much attention to those things, I think. You know
Sure.
what I'm saying? Like if I
Yeah.
was just a viewer, I would have stopped.
Okay.
I get that.
Jacob, where you at?
I started staring at my list. I think the main hindrance for me is similar to both of you, where while there are things about this conceptually that I like, and there are moments that are fun, and there's like some fun kitschy things in it as well, I think my biggest problem is really just the age. Like, I don't think I'm very well versed in watching old anime. I've watched a couple of shows, and I've tried to watch a couple of shows and had trouble. And it's just one of these things where the age does kind of hinder me because I'm very like visually motivated, and I really like Flash. If you look at the stuff that is on the top of my list, they're all very flashy. So having a show that's old school, that doesn't have that kind of budget level, it's a little tough for me to get into. There are things I like, but if I really had to sit here and go, it'd probably end up in my like decent category, which to me is a C. It's a very in the middle show for me right now, where I'm kind of half and half on what I like and what I don't like about it personally right now. And I think that personally, like the amount of attention I was paying was mainly my own fault versus the show's. So I'm going to try to really push a little harder as I continue to watch. But I agree with Joe where if I was in a situation where I was like, I'm just interested in watching Saint Seiya by myself and I'm going to see what I think about it, I don't think I would have quit, because usually I don't quit shows. I usually like power through shows until like I can't take it anymore. So at this point, I think I would have been kind of like, I don't know, but I'm gonna keep kind of going and trying to see where it takes me. So I think I'm at like a C. I think that's a solid base for me to start at with this show in particular. But I agree that the potential, even within the next 10 episodes of just this first season, I think there's a fair bit of potential where it could go. And I think the biggest thing that's going to keep this going and motivate, I think, me and Joe for getting higher ratings is definitely going to be where the story goes and like how the characters interact, because I think they're doing those parts well. So, yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
Great.
Okay, y'all.
Well, that's the first 5 episodes.
That's the first 5 episodes. Next, we're going to be doing 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So,
Yep.
as always, go follow our YouTube at Devil Fruit. Check us out on Spotify at Devil Fruit as well. Please follow us on that.
Yup.
If you want updates on new episodes, go follow us on Twitter at Devil Fruit Corp. C-O-R-P. And if you want to follow our regular social medias, you'll just have to fight us in a tournament for our cloths.
We're going to make you bleed a
I'll
lot.
make you bleed a lot. Might kill you.
Oh, that was one of my favorite moments. Was Seiya talking to the big Goliath dude or whatever at the beginning and being like, "Have you ever felt the universe inside your fist?"
Oh my
Like
god.
that was good.
Find
that
our
was-
universes
was
inside
great.
your fist. And by that I mean our Instagram handle on your phone. Boom!
And be sure to tune in next episode for my movie pick.
Oh
which I already know
yeah.
what it is.
You're gonna
yeah,
drop it
he's
in
gotta
the next
reveal
one.
it.
You're gonna drop it in the next one. You can drop the okay, let's fucking get it.
Yeah.
Alright. See y'all later.
Peace.